What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some big news that just came out involving the markets, which you should be watching for as time goes on, based off these levels and such. Before I begin the doubles information, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. The offer ends very soon in just about 15 hours. With that being said, guys, let's talk about the market right now. The market has gotten this big rejection. We saw SPY kind of pop as we predicted and before getting a little rejection. And instead of holding our key support, we've actually lost our support at this 507 area. There's 507.92. That's our 50 EMA we lost. And now we've also sunken below our 200 EMA. So we're showing more and more weakness on the charts, and there is a risk of more downside in my personal opinion. So I'm going to break down more levels in just a minute, but I first want to talk about this. So I just want to say that for today, almost all the data is out when it comes to the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index and the Chicago PMI. The market is once again getting a negative reaction. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be Wednesday, May 1st. Do not forget that we have important JOLTS job openings data, not to mention the Fed interest rate hike decision and Jerome Powell giving a speech tomorrow at the FOMC meeting. So it's going to be very important. We can't wait to see what Jerome Powell is going to be saying. We'll see how things go for tomorrow. But until then, we're just going to be focusing on these charts. SPY is looking kind of weak right here. So we have this nice looking distributive structure that's developed. You guys could see that it had this very, very tight resistance at 510. I mentioned in my videos to turn bullish on SPY. We had to see this thing break past 510, and we've really struggled to do so. Now, we tried to break it. We looked like we had a lot of life, and the move has failed, and now SPY is just continuing to sink. So the market has switched directions. Algos are starting to sell. I also noticed that we have this big gap to fill down here, so I'll be watching to see if we end up filling that gap at this point since we've lost 507. So SPY, in my opinion, looks bearish. Going into tomorrow, we'll see if there's a little rebound before it continues lower, but I still believe that there is a risk of it dipping more, and that's continuing to affect the overall market. Tesla's also dipping quite a bit. We're going to be approaching, in my opinion, 182, then eventually 180. It's looking pretty weak right now because of all this negative news. They have big layoff news that's coming out, big price cuts from different analysts, and just lots of this negative news that's still affecting Tesla. So it's looking a bit more bearish. So keep that in the back of your mind. Nvidia is sinking a bit, but it's trying to hold 872 as support. If we lose that, yes, we could dip lower towards 862, but we're still looking a bit weaker on Nvidia. We have a little bearish divergence developing, so it could actually turn a bit. Just want to give you guys a heads up about that. For the QQQ, we're barely holding 429.5. If we lose that, we're easily dipping to about 428. If that fails us, there's going to be a bigger drop to fill this gap all the way down to 424. So I do see a risk of downside on the chart as well. For Apple's also kind of turning a little bit. Aapl did hit, so the move I predicted did happen where we fall to like 172, then we rebound. That's what happened. And now after getting the rebound, we're actually rejecting off 175 again and coming back down. So look at our key support at 173.5. Look at resistance at 174 and 175. Right now, we'll see how it holds at 173.5. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 172.5. So I'm seeing some weakness on Apple's share price. We'll have to see how it goes from there, but I do want to give you guys that heads up about the risks for the company. For Amazon has earnings today, but as of right now, it's looking a little bit weak. We're losing the 50 EMA. So we're going to be watching support where we're currently at 179.5. If we do lose that, we could be dipping even lower to much lower levels, such as like 178. Now, yes, Amazon could dip a little bit, but it doesn't matter as much. What matters more is going to be its earnings after the market closes. So we'll have to see how that goes. For Meta is actually trying to push a little bit towards 440. We'll have to see how it reacts to this. This is going to be our 50 EMA, and we'll see what reactions we get. But I just want to give you guys a heads up about this. That's going to be very, very key. For the VIX is also trying to push a bit. We're going to be looking at 15.37 to potentially get tested as the market's dipping a bit. We'll see if the VIX gets a big breakout or not. It is still trying to push thanks to the fact that the S&P 500 is showing some weakness. And then we also have the 10-year Treasury yield. If after FOMC and such, we get a more hawkish Fed, we could come up to fill this gap, which would be bearish for the markets. It really depends on what we get from yields and such. But that's what I'm seeing, at least thus far, as we're seeing a big shift within the market and within the different indices out there. So that's something worth noting. And then finally, we have the one and only dollar index. The dollar is continuing to break out right now. It started off kind of weak, but now it's trying to push back up towards the resistance at about 106.5. So it's holding up very nicely, and we'll have to see how things go. With that being said, guys, I just wanted to give you guys some warnings about this market. There are risks of downside. You guys can see how SPY is performing and such. SPY is looking kind of weak, so please keep that in the back of your mind. I want to give you guys a very quick warning about this. We could continue to fall to 505, and if that fails, it's just a gap to fill all the way down to 503. All right, so that's your super quick lightning fast update intraday. I'll see you guys very soon in a few hours. Thank you for listening, and peace out.